Hello everyone, welcome to GS Core. I'm Abhishiekh Saxena. So this session is all about mains concept mapping in approach to mains through question to concept. Might sound a bit perplexing to begin with. Let me elaborate on the agenda. So if we look at the UPSC Civil Services Examination, we deal with eclectic subjects. And at each stage of the examination, it is ultimately the test of concept, whether the candidate has the knowledge of the concept. So, every time a candidate is encountered with a question, it ultimately relates to a concept from the syllabus. And to this end, this series of approach to mains tries to declutter the scheme of UPSC examination and how the concepts actually manifest themselves into questions, and how you have, if you have the clarity of the concepts, you can answer any and every question by tracing it back to the root concept, which helps you write a precise answer. So in this session, we are going to talk about the subject of governance and social justice, that is GS paper 2, and within that we are going to take up the basic aspects of governance as an area. Though mentioned in the syllabus, it is a very abstract idea. So through the question, we'll try and backtrace our journey to the concept, and this will help you actually answer the question in a far more better manner. Because once we sort of know that from where the question is, we have a very clear-cut periphery and boundary from which we need to sift the information and process it and weave it in the form of an answer. And hence, this journey from question to concept is very, very critical and can be a make or break factor for you in the final selection while writing the mains examination. Also, in the mains examination, a candidate is constrained by a lot of factors, whether it is the time limit, it is the word limit, the pace, the sheer pace of the examination, and the Herculean size of the syllabus to cover. And hence, if we adopt these smart strategies, we are able to cut down on a lot of noise in the examination. Also, this approach to learning and writing the mains examination helps you develop that sort of a critical thinking, analytical ability, as well as an orderly skill of articulation while writing answers in the mains examination. So after this background, let us get to the question and see that how we can tackle this question through the journey of question to concept. So this question, as you can see, was asked in the year 2022 and was a 10 marker. So easily we can define certain things, that it would be 150 odd word limit, right? And let us see how the question is presenting a challenge to us. Reforming the government delivery system through direct benefit transfer scheme is a progressive step, but it has limitations too. Comment. So to begin with, people who tend to jump the gun can simply think that it is about the DBT, direct benefit transfer. While if you look at the subject of governance and social justice, there are things which are heavily interlinked. It offers a complex cocktail of different topics put together. But it is the basics which are perennial, and if you lift your answer through the fulcrum of basics, your answer is always appreciated. So more often than not, in the examination, there will be various themes, whether it is health, vulnerable sections, education, transparency, accountability, various government schemes and interventions, laws, prevailing economic development and social development agendas. All of them will be embedded in and around these basic concepts of governance, right? And if we completely ignore those basic arguments and simply jump the gun to DBT, or at least do not dress the DBT in our answer, equipping it with the basic concepts, our answer will remain very, very shallow, right? And hence it is vital for us to understand that how these basic concepts can be woven into the answer, so that we provide that sort of a theoretical heft in our answer, along with the very contemporary multidisciplinary nature of the subject of governance and social justice. So let me try and trace it back to the set of concepts. Remember, the theme is the basic aspects of governance. So the question says reforming the government delivery system through direct benefit transfer. So there have been governance, delivery systems even before the coming up of governance and good governance idea, right? But the point is that the government delivery system and its reform and this direct benefit transfer, how does it alleviate the qualitative aspects of the governance? That is what the undercurrent of this theme is. It says it's a progressive step but has limitations. Then it is fairly simple that yes, it's a good start, it's something which is good, but it is also fraught with certain challenges. So let us look at the concept, underlying concepts, that is the basic aspects of governance. So if we look at the basic aspects of governance, we have a sort of a society or citizens, and then we have a state, where state is an agent and society or citizens are the principal, in which the state is entrusted by the society and citizens to work in their interest. But over a period of time, the state started dominating the citizens, and hence it became so large, so self-servient, so inward looking that it became inefficient. And hence there was periodic erosion in the legitimacy and in the faith by common citizens in the state. And hence, to provide better services, better public goods, the idea of governance evolved, which was about the rollback of the state, the shrinking of the state, a small but efficient state rather than a large but inefficient state. And this gave way to three forces, that is state, market and civil society, coming together to serve the interest of the society and citizens. While this was a value-free idea, it was provided value component through the idea of good governance, which held certain values cardinal. Obviously, you have a lot of definitions, whether it is by OECD, whether it is by World Bank, etc. But there are certain principles, pillars which are cardinal. For example, consensus orientation, right? Accountability, transparency, equity and inclusiveness, efficiency and effectiveness, rule of law, participation, responsiveness, right? So these 8 pillars are very, very cardinal. So when we say that public service delivery, we will have to actually alleviate the argument in a manner that public service delivery is an essential feature or it is incumbent upon state to provide public goods. So we can provide that theoretical heft through here. At the same time, in this direct benefit transfer scheme or the DBT mechanism has brought in good governance and has alleviated the qualitative aspects of the public service delivery. How? You will have simply these as yardsticks to present your answer, that it provides for consensus orientation, accountability, transparency, equity and inclusiveness. It is efficient and effective. It follows rule of law. There is no discretion, arbitrariness, right? It allows people participation. The system is very, very responsive. There is no middleman, right? With consensus orientation, we can say that it is a system in which all the stakeholders are in place, whether it is the delivering banks, whether it is the Aadhaar backbone, whether it is the citizens. Citizens are also participating because they know that their money won't be siphoned off. They get the comfort, financial inclusion, all those aspects, and through this structure only, you can theoretically present your argument. At the same time, along with each or with few examples spread across this or through a case study, you can actually prove a point that how, let us say, in MG Narega, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, subsidy is getting directly transferred. How it is equitable and inclusive. It does not differentiate. Rather, in Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala, you have women considered as the beneficiary. So things like that. So putting a solid foundation of sorts of theory and then planting the trees of contemporary orientation through this concepts, you can evolve the answer. And that is how, you can weave the answer. So to begin with, right, we'll have to contextualize this aspect. That public service delivery is one of the cardinal roles that a state is expected to perform for citizens. In this light, the direct benefit transfer scheme combined with the governance era has ushered in qualitative improvement in the public service delivery experience of the citizens, right? Through this, but it is not a task which is complete. More needs to be done. And then once we have contextualized this, we can spread further. In the sense, how DBT benefits. And just like I said, you can use the architecture of governance, good governance, and the principal agent relationship between the state and the civil society, even as figures, right? And then taking the yardsticks of good governance to give an appraisal of DBT. You can very well provide a structure to your answer because we know the concept. We have demarcated our territory, that from where we need to pick the information. And once we have done that, we can say that yes, there are certain challenges of exclusion, that there might be certain people who are excluded out of the system because of the certain procedural bottlenecks. There might be elements of lack of connectivity, lack of infrastructure, lack of training, capacity building for the functionaries who are delivering this on the ground, right? So then once we have mapped out the challenges, we can simply say that it is a significant step, rather a work in progress, to further fine tune and bridge the above cited challenges with more aggressive and widespread coverage, simplification and incorporation of citizens into the overall implementation psyche and the policy psyche regarding the direct benefit transfers. Through this, will be able to realize or justify the pillars of good governance in its true spirit. And if you weave this answer, it will have a healthy dose of theoretical grounding as well as the contemporary orientation, hence making your answer complete, comprehensive, holistic, right? So that is the way through which we can trace that how the concepts that we have studied can be used in the examination for our advantage. Okay. Now, let us see some of the probable questions which can explore these arenas. Meaningful public participation is the key to bring about good governance. Comment. Again, the fundamental is good governance. That is the governance with its 8 pillars: consensus orientation, accountability, transparency, participation, rule of law, responsiveness, equity and inclusiveness, efficiency and effectiveness. How citizen participation enriches it. How citizen participation provides more legitimacy to the government, to the governance process, right? All those things will go here in a similar manner. Second one, effective delivery of social security schemes is both a means and an end. Discuss. These questions are a bit abstract. These questions provoke you to think, and if you are not able to trace them back to the concepts, you will be in a state of fog where you will not be able to decide what to write or what not to write. At the same time, it will lead to you writing arbitrary answers, which will not be very marks fetching, let me tell you that. So this approach of question to concept help you trace the question back to its core concept. It trains you for that. So in the second question, while the effective delivery of social security schemes is embedded, the idea is both means and an end. It is a means to provide for social justice. It is a means to elevate the qualitative aspects of governance, as well as the immediate benefit that it provides is an end. So it should be the larger orientation that governance is about networked approach to running the country, to running the public affairs, to running the socio-cultural, economic, political affairs in the country, right? So hence, these questions or the questions in the examination reflect that sort of a character where you need to provide it a theoretical depth. At the same time, you need to use the basics in your notes, in your study, which you think are not required in the examination or are not applied when you write answer, because it is a question about direct benefit transfer scheme, right? And hence people are not able to secure a lot of marks because they are not able to contextualize and trace back the roots in an effective manner, right? So I hope that this approach will benefit all of you to a great extent, and it will help you to fine tune your preparation and score more marks in the mains examination. So that's all for this session. Thank you.